Today we're in studio shooting with the new GF 80mm 1.7R WR lens. That'll be the last time I refer to the entire name, of course. When we hear about a fast lens, especially a lens like this, the fastest medium format lens with autofocus created to date, the first thing we think about is bokeh. How smooth is the bokeh of the lens? This lens has a 9-blade aperture with rounded edges. Therefore, everything behind our subject that's not tack sharp has this nice creamy feeling to it. This is going to be a great lens for environmental portraits and close-up portraits alike. I am super excited to use it in the studio today. I built this set that has all these different things that can fool a lens. We have backlight situations, we have specular highlights, we have things that are going to be crossing in front of the model to see if anything fools the eye autofocus. So first, let's talk about a few specs, and then let's jump into today's shoot, because I got some interesting things going on in terms of lighting that I definitely want to share with you guys today. The 35mm equivalent of this medium format 80mm lens is 63mm. It has an angle of view of about 37.7 degrees. Therefore, when you're about 10-12 feet away from your subject, you can get a full body shot even if you're shooting horizontally. And you can easily come in and get much tighter shots as well. On the GFX 100, this is amazing because even when you're shooting full body, you're still able to get extreme detail and even skin texture in your subject. And with the 1.7mm aperture, you can easily separate your subject from the background, whether you're shooting full length or if you come in and you're shooting much tighter. At only 1.75 pounds, I must say this lens balanced perfectly. There was one time I was shooting just with one hand as I was kind of bringing other foreground elements into the frame, and this lens balanced extremely well on the GFX 100. I was using eye autofocus, and the eyes were tack sharp from image to image. So the build quality of this lens is excellent. The front element has a fluorine coating, so it's going to help get rid of dust and water, repelling those just in case you're out in the elements shooting with this lens. This lens also has 12 elements and 9 groups. And a lot of people may ask, okay, what's the significance of that? Well, think about this. The Carl Zeiss Otis 1.4, which we've all come to know and love, has 12 elements and 10 groups. And some less expensive lenses, like some lenses that we refer to as like the Thrifty 50, have only about 6 elements and 5 groups. And so what this says is that oftentimes engineers put a little bit more work when you see the lens has like more elements and groups involved. This lens has one aspherical element. What does the aspherical element do? It helps get rid of chromatic aberration, not chromatic, chromatic aberration. What chromatic aberration is basically when your highlights start to have like a comet bloom coming off of them. And therefore, having an aspherical element, not only does it help with edge-to-edge sharpness, it also helps get rid of that type of aberration, chromatic aberration as well. The lens also has 2 ED elements. Now the ED elements are to get rid of chromatic aberration, which we've all heard about. Chromatic aberration is kind of like the green or magenta fringing that you'll get on highlights or sharp edges of your image. With 2 ED elements, it helps prevent and mitigate that from happening with this lens, especially when shooting at extremely wide open apertures. The first thing I noticed when I was handed this lens is the build quality. It's all metal design. It shares similar qualities with the other lenses in the Fuji GFX lineup, being dust and weather resistant, as well as being able to operate at temperatures as low as 14 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, I don't see myself shooting in 14 degree Fahrenheit anytime soon, but I must say, if I did need to, I'd have confidence that this lens would perform superbly. Okay, now that we've wrapped up some of the specs, let's talk about what the shoot was. What I wanted to do is set up an environment in which I could kind of shoot from anywhere. I said, you know what, today we're gonna shoot at 1.7 to 2.8 the entire shoot. So I said, why not shoot everything with constant light? Yes? I would say I've gotten a little tired of using strobes, so I decided to pull out every single hot light I could possibly find, including a makeup mirror. If I was to add up all the lights I used on set today, I would probably say I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hot lights going, not including all the ones in the makeup mirror, which would add another 14 if I decide to add those up in this as well. What I wanted to do was give things that would fool this lens. I want to give like specular highlights. I want to create situations in which it really had a lot of things to contend with when pulling focus. And I must say the lens performed superbly. I wanted the set kind of be able to shoot from 360 degrees, meaning when I was shooting at the makeup mirror, I was behind the actual set that I built, but then in front of it, you see the makeup mirror kind of shining through, just adding this other element. I created this background from basically fabric, and then I was safety pinning it to other pieces of background, and I was opening it and closing it to kind of reveal different things as we were shooting. I really wanted this shoot to be dynamic. I really wanted the model to really feel as if though she was shooting the cover for some very high-end fashion editorial magazine. So at the end of the day, the only thing I can really say is I'm very happy that Fuji lent me this lens to do this video here on Adorama TV, and I don't plan on giving it back. Thank you, Adorama, for letting us create this video, and thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can see more videos just like this on Adorama TV. My name is Ab Sesay, and it was a pleasure test driving this lens for you today.